These are the hydraulic pumps. That one didn't come with it, that one did. We had issues with this tractor not having enough pressure to lift anything. It's just not building pressure, okay? So there's a chance this pump, which we did replace at one point, is something's wrong with it, okay? Well, this one here actually came with the transmissions and engines that we had for the Big Bud project. Those big old Allisons, and it is basically identical to that one, just the ports are on different sides and whatnot. So we don't know any specs of that pump, other than the housing is the exact same. The shaft is the exact same. The only difference we can see is they're using different port sides of the ports in the pump, and then the supply line on this is the 1-inch line, and the supply line on this one was a 3/4 line. Other than that, they're both 1/2 inch out. So we were like, well, this one probably ran great, and we're thinking about putting this one on here. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to do it and see.
If it's, the thing is, that looks way newer than original pump that they put on it. I think they replaced it, so I say give it a try. We got nothing to lose besides
blowing it up.
Blowing it up and then having to get the right pump.
Yeah. So anyways, it should work. We're gonna do that. I think I mentioned yesterday, we're gonna take those 2 filters out of the transmission. We drop all the oil. I guess there's a screen behind this line right here. So we'll take that off, check that screen, clean it up, put it back on. The other thing that we were gonna do was to upgrade the radiator on this. This is the original, the fan marks in it. It's pretty used, it's pretty beat, and I'm sure it's not as good as newer fans. I went online and thought I could get a good deal and bought this one. It's an aluminum core, but it's only still 3-core, like that one's a 3-core. And after doing some research, I'm gonna send this one back. It's, I think it's pretty cheap. I don't know if it'll be much of an upgrade, and it'll probably fix its problems. So I got a better one coming next week, but we're gonna go ahead and throw this one on with the old hoses and everything, and we're gonna do a radiator flush with some good old stuff that's supposed to clean out the inside, and we're gonna use water and just run the engine and just clean everything really good. And then when the new radiator comes, we'll yank the old one off, put the new one on, and put coolant in it. So that makes sense. I was also gonna upgrade the fan. This is a 5-blade. It's like 21.5, 22-inch diameter. Turns out that Deere made for some of their bigger horsepower tractors a 6-blade version that's 1 inch wider in diameter. But to do that, we'd have to get a new cowling because the cowling wouldn't fit. So we might just run this one for now and just see what the original fan can do with this new radiator. Maybe it'll be sufficient. If it does start having heating problems, we can always upgrade that in the cowling and go to the bigger size. I kind of like the look of this used paint look.
Looks very retro.
Can you lift it up a little bit? All right, that one's going in. There we go. Hey, look at that. I got a 3/4 on there right now. Yeah, this is pretty special. He's good at finessing. I think it is, yeah. I was in the process of attaching the intake tube to the compressor side of the turbo, and I noticed it doesn't quite line up how our other one did, so something might have changed with the turbo location, the manifold, I don't know, so I had a little adjustment to do, but in the process, I gave us a little wiggle and I go, oh, that's not good. You can't see in there, well, I can help you see in there. They're not quite touching yet, but the exhaust vanes are just starting to rub in the housing, and so this adjustment here looks tight, but something's loose here. I think the turbo's fine. It spins freely. It doesn't feel like the bearing's bad or anything, but I gotta get that fixed because if that thing shifts and it starts wearing into the side of the housing, it's gonna just go boom. So the other option I have is I robbed the one off this other 404. They're both Schweitzer turbos. I don't think they're any different. Tag's missing on the one, of course, but this one has its tag. This one's solid. There's no movement in this at all. So I have parts. I possibly could rob that turbo, except for trying to find gaskets if the old ones don't survive the transplant. But first, I'm just gonna see if I can tighten this up. If I can tighten this up, then I can just leave this on here, not touch anything, because this kind of stuff, not fun to take apart when it's sat like this all these years, all the heat cycles it's been through. It'd be nice just to leave it. I just took off one of the retainers, flanges, whatever you want to call it, and I noticed it's got a groove war. You can see it right there. So I think what I can do is just flip it over, flip it 180, put it on there, and that should hopefully give it the tension it needs to push it tight again. So we'll try that, but I gotta get the other 2 bolts out. That one's all toast, it's stripped out. I got it out, I'll have to put a new one in. I might have to tap the housing too. We'll see. So anyways, they're coming out. But like I figured, I don't like to come out easy. Oh, I wanted to say, guys, too. This is my good old Bales hay shirt from Trevor Bales down in Arizona. He's my buddy. He's a fun guy. Trevor's the man. I just want to take a minute and just say, you guys are praying people. Please keep his son in your prayers. He's 3-4 years old. Should know the name, but I don't want to butcher it, so I'm not going to say it. Anyways, he has a very rare, it's kind of like a cancer, and it affects, I think, some of his bones and his kidney or his pancreas or something like that. Bottom line is the kid is going through, he had surgery, he's going through chemo and a bunch of stuff, and I got kids. That's heart-wrenching. So just put a prayer out for Trevor Bales' family. Bales hay. You look him up, they're all over YouTube and stuff too. Trevor's the man, but he's got a good heart. He's trusting the Lord. His wife's standing strong, but doesn't matter how strong you are, that hurts. So pray that poor child heals and gets through this moment in his life and never goes back to that and becomes strong and healthy. So anyways, moving on to this, but hang in there, Trevor. You're the man. Love you, buddy. And we'll keep praying for your son. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. How is that one gonna come out? There's no way. Not with this in the way. I don't like disturbing stuff like that. That's a gasket I don't want to disturb. Fun. I guess I could take this out. I'd have to take, I can't get that off either. If I took this off, I'm wondering if I can rotate it. But not with that line on there. Can't do that. All right, we'll see what we get. Maybe I can just tighten this side and call it good. We'll see. All right, I have an idea. I probably got to do these 4 here. If I do these 4 here, I can rotate this housing, which will then get this bolt over beyond this bracket, and then I can get those 2 out. Let's try it. Well, I can't rotate it. These are studs, as I broke that one off right there. Come on, camera, focus. So, got that loose. At least this is off. I'm going to take the turbo off. That's all I can do. Got to put it on the bench. So, let's peel it off. That's all I can do. All right, I guess we're ready to try to lift this thing up. There we go. Don't tell me you don't fit through there. Oh, you kidding me? So close. Oh, can I get it? Oh, there we go. Got it. It's too bad I ripped that stud out. I don't know if that could probably heat on it, put a new stud in there, maybe. It'll probably be fine like it is. I snuck out of the shop for a quick minute to show you guys today's video sponsor, and that is Brooklyn Bedding. Let's pull the sheets off and take a look. Ah, isn't that beautiful? Just look at that. And also quickly, just look out the window and see the green. Just take a minute, take that in for a second. Haven't had that in a long time. I love it. But back to the mattress. This is the Sedona from Brooklyn Bedding. Brooklyn Bedding's been around since, well, they've been making mattresses since 1995. They're designed, assembled, and shipped directly from Arizona to your door free of charge, which is pretty cool because it skips the middleman, keeps the cost down a little bit, gets you premium quality. Pretty awesome. This is Sedona we've had for well over a year now. My wife and I have been really thoroughly enjoying it. She likes a little softer mattress. I like a little firmer. Best of both worlds for both of us, which is great. Good night's sleep. The kids love it when they should be sleeping in their own bed, but somehow they end up in ours a lot. This mattress really speaks premium quality. You can just tell by the material. Just well built. Multiple layers of foam and springs. Just adds up to a very, very nice mattress. It's crazy to think that something like that can show up literally in a box at your door when you just unwrap and fold it out, but it does. They're a little bit big at first, but once you get them in the spot and you cut them open and lay them out, it's a lot easier than taking a full mattress from a box store and shove it in your pickup and try and take it home. Much easier. Here in Montana, our environment is, well, it's very confused. One minute it can be near 100 degrees. Next minute can be minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And our humidity up and down all over. And so each season provides its own challenges. Winters are cold, summers are hot. The Sedona is a great mattress in that you don't feel extra hot in the heat, you don't feel extra cold in the cold. It just kind of keeps temperatures about where they should be. The foam is made in-house at Brooklyn Bedding. You can see this is well over a year's worth of use. Don't see any slumping or sagging in the mattress. It's got copper flex built into it, which helps with comfort, temperature, and a number of things. Brooklyn Bedding offers a limited lifetime warranty, plus a 120-night sleep trial, and you can use your health savings account or flexible spending account to help purchase one of these mattresses. I love my Brooklyn bedding mattress. I think you guys would too. If you're interested in a mattress, go to brooklynbedding.com or scan the QR code and make sure at checkout you use the promo code Welker Farms, and that'll get you 30% off your order, which is huge. So anyways, I'm gonna get back to work. We gotta work on that 4520. See how far we get, see how motivated we get, see if we do all the things that we wanted to do to it that I've been kind of pushing, but I think it's gonna work out in the end. Not that the other guys are against it, but it's just work. But I really do think that tractor's gonna be pretty sweet when it's done. So it's a good tractor. I learned to drive that thing, one of my first tractors. We need to get that going. So anyways, thank you Brooklyn Bedding for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to work. There we go. Now I can rotate it. So we'll get those bolts out. Let's look at this closer. There we are. There she be. I don't see any damage on it yet, so it wasn't rubbing on the housing yet. But after I bolt up the new intake and everything, I just got a feeling it's gonna do that because it'll start rubbing right around that part right there. So I don't see anything more on this. The spots where it must be wearing, there's a lip right on the edge there. And then these pieces, this one and this one, both have that worn lip too. I could possibly reverse them. We'll try it. If it doesn't work, I think I gotta swap turbos. I did some testing and I can't tighten it up any tighter. It's wore a groove into the turbo housing here, and there's no way. I'm surprised they make these, they don't hardly fit over that ledge there. They barely just touch, and I read on the internet this is actually a problem with these turbos. But why this piece wasn't wider and went all the way, I don't know if you guys can even see what I'm talking about here, but push it all the way in like that, and then had the holes here. So I could make a new bracket, possibly. I thought about cutting the ends out of these, welding a big washer this side so the bolt hole moves over, and that'll shove this whole clamp in, which will then push on a new face there, which isn't wore out, and that would hold it. Or, I know you guys are gonna throw something at the TV when I say this, or throw your phone. What if I lined this up and welded this up? Huh? You guys see what I'm saying here? I don't need to adjust it, but I know exactly where it needs to be. The marks are right there. I can wait for leg arms, and he's gonna be like, absolutely not. But just a bead of weld, a couple tacks, just and a couple more over here. Should I even put that on camera? If I'd ever told you guys, you'd never know. It'd probably run fine for years. Or it comes apart and blows up the turbo and destroys the engine. Pull that leg arms aside. Tricked you. You thought I was welding on the turbo. No, actually what I did is I welded washers, notched out, I got marks on this one, I haven't done it yet, notched the top out so I could slide it back in tighter, and then welded washers offset out to push these two in tighter to go on a new surface that hasn't been worn down yet. I think this will work really good. I got a little bit of weld I could do in there, and I clean this up so that way I know it's strong, but that way I don't weld on the turbo. I know. I heard you guys. I heard the screaming. Let's put them on and see what happens. Well, she's tight now. It tightened it up. Those locking tabs are shot, so if I get it right where I want, I think I'm just gonna take the welder and I'm just gonna put a tack on each one of these bolts so that way they don't work themselves out. And bolt this back up. I think it's good to go. Saved a turbo. Saved a few bucks. Unless it blows up. Well, I heated on this stud with a torch and been cooling it, heating it, cooling it, heating it. It just now broke loose. I had this intake plastic out of the way so I didn't melt it, but I guess I can put it back in there now. I think it's coming out now. So I guess we can find a new stud. There we are. Good deal. Just got to find something to put back in there. Actually, I could just put a bolt through that. There we go. Tight. Soon to be tight. Definitely gonna be tight. Gotta tighten that. All right, I'm not gonna over tighten these, but.
One of the things I gotta do is the mounts on the motor where it connects to the frame, all the threads need to be cleaned up. Only 2 of them were used on each side of the front of the motor when it was in the combine. The rest of those, which is about 4 of them, have not had anything in them, so there's a bunch of material, junk, rust, whatever it might be, and I need to clean them up. One of you guys out there gave us these adapters. I can't tell you how cool they are. I didn't know they existed. So you put them on an impact, and then you got your tap, and they just slide right in, and voila. You guys are awesome. put some spray in there to kind of lube it up and clean it up, and let's... That's awesome.
Let me push on the wheels.
Now that frame might have to be jacked up a little bit. Oh, we got to spread these a little bit.
Here, 1 second. What's going on is this hose needs to be on the other side of these lines right here. So he's got to pull this off, feed it around, and then hook it back up when we get past it. That looks like fresh paint right there.
No, it's not.
See, we painted it. They can't tell us we didn't paint it. Don't even go there. It's been painted.
I used a bunch of Scotch Guard and roughed it up to make sure that the paint sticks really well. But then I made sure that there's a layer of oil.
She's gonna be sweet. It looks identical to the thing that was in there. In fact, honestly, from the outside, there is very little changes that you could even notice. But internally, she's a bigger engine by, what is that, 62 cubic inches? Because it's 466 and the old one was a 404. There we go.
Okay, these two are good.
Okay, I gotta let mine down just a little bit. All right.
Okay, right there, hold on. Oh, go back up just a tiny bit.
Okay. Yeah, then we can focus on this side.
So you can do what you need to do.
Okay, so it needs to come down.
Ain't going anywhere on that side.
So actually the jack is off it. So technically we need to put a bar in here. It needs to be pulled down and pushed in a little bit.
All right, let's put the rest of the bolts in. And this thing is together.
Now we are not putting the cowling on it because we're gonna get a different radiator. It's coming in the mail. So we're just gonna leave it off for the time being. This radiator is just here, just keep the engine cool while we flush it. Really good. We're gonna put some stuff in it, run it for a bit, and just run water and just dump it all on the ground. Get her all cleaned up really good and ready for the new radiator when it comes. While we're at it, we're dropping the transmission oil. I'm gonna take 2 filter housings off. Let's see what they look like. Let's button her up, put some new oil in it. Using a pressure washer to fill it full of water. Because he didn't want to get a guard nose.
Don't worry, it's distilled water.
All right, just pull the screen out, and then a plug in the very back behind the rear filter right there. I mean, it's not completely covered. I've seen worse. There's definitely some material on this. I don't like that, but what do? Yeah, tractor seems to shift and run okay, so. And the filters, Welker Farms is out there doing something on something with the 2 wheels. These guys, the first filter, hopefully these are tandem, had some junk sticking out of it, so it was bad. I mean, this is years of using hydraulic hoses and different implements connected, and I mean, a lot of this, I see rubber stuff in here, probably hydraulic hose fittings and pieces. This is the second filter in the front. It doesn't have any of that. It's a lot cleaner, but I already got the new filters in. We'll clean this up, put it back in there, and then add the oil. Filters are in. Just add a little oil. Welker Farms is right. We're going to bring the frame that was for that loader back, put it on this side because it has the battery box on it and the steps. We're going to build something in the future, but this is just temporary, just so we can get this thing tested and fired up. There's no place to hang the battery right now. So get that on there, and then we're going to fire this up and see what happens. All right, well, we put the hood temporarily on. We put the frame temporarily on because, as it turns out, the battery and steps are on that side of this frame, and there are makeshift air cleaners on that side of that frame. So we got to redo all that. We just want to get this thing running first, get it clean, try it out, make sure everything runs okay. Then we'll bring it back in the shop, and then we'll start the process of fine tuning, finishing. But there's oil in the transmission, so we're good there. New filters, screen's clean. I think it's time to let her rip. You ready?
Yep.
Yeah, I know, the thing moves a little bit. We're missing some bolts down there. We didn't put them in. Battery might be weak, we'll find out.
Ready?
Go for it. I hear the turbo. So his steering's gonna take a little bit to get the oil in it. There it goes. He sounds different. There is definitely a different sound to that engine. It's the turbo, I think. If you guys know where to get the spherical bushings for these tie rod ends, let me know. Those are unique row crop tie ends that I can't find anywhere, because you look up a 4520 tie rods and that is not what comes up. Turns out this is like a unique row crop version of this tractor. Probably really rare. I'm sorry guys for all the collectors out there that wish they had this thing. Oh, I see oh, that's just a fan blow water. Okay, yeah, we're good. If we would have known better, we would have taken better care of this thing back today, but it's already not the original engine, so it's a mutant now. We're still gonna keep it running, that's what we're doing. I might have to help move some stuff here. Moving the oil pan. Hey Scott! Scott! We got an oil leak here somewhere, hydraulic. It's somewhere on the pump. I'm not sure where. It looks like it's on the bottom or something. I don't know. Where is that?
It is that fitting that I welded.
Is it?
It's not hard to get.
Which one?
Right there.
Is it leaking where you welded it?
Yep, because I had to combine two fittings to make one.
I wonder where it's leaking at then.
It's not that.
I can't get the line out of that joint. I was going to try to look at it, but it's in the way. We're going to get this thing out of here, put it by the pressure washer, wash it off, and then he's going to get that fitting off and clean it up and fix it. We had another leak in the back. Turns out my filter housing wasn't tight. I thought I tightened it. I didn't. So, and then, yeah, then we'll take it for a test drive. I think we need some new rubber. All the cracks in them. Look at that. They're still holding there though. They don't build them quite like they used to. Old, kind of new. That turbo makes a big difference. It never used to sound like that. I don't know what's different, but man, must just have a lot better compression. That other engine was not running right. That's definitely a turbo. Huh. It wasn't rubbing when I welded that all up, so I don't know. Guess it'll eventually stop rubbing if it is.